Good morning, everyone, and welcome. I'm Dr. S.K. Singh, holding a PhD, and I'm delighted to have you here today. We will be exploring the U.S. FDA Guidelines for Pharmaceutical Quality System, or PQS. Over the course of this presentation, we'll cover the key principles, requirements, and best practices outlined by the FDA to ensure quality in pharmaceutical manufacturing. Let's get started and make this an engaging and informative session. Let's start by looking at the introduction to the U.S. FDA GMP. The FDA, or Food and Drug Administration, is the main regulatory body in the United States responsible for overseeing pharmaceuticals. Their role is to ensure that medicines are safe, effective, and manufactured to high standards. Now, the legal foundation for these regulations comes from the Federal Food, Drug, and Cosmetic Act. This act provides the authority for the FDA to regulate drugs and set standards for their production. Specifically, the regulations we focus on are found in 21 CFR Parts 210 and 211. These parts outline current good manufacturing practices, or CGMP, which are essential for maintaining quality during the manufacturing process. The key concept here is what we call CGMP, or Current Good Manufacturing Practice. This means that systems and processes used in pharmaceutical manufacturing must always incorporate the latest scientific knowledge and technological advancements. Essentially, it's about staying current, ensuring quality is never compromised because we're using outdated methods. So, throughout this presentation, keep in mind that CGMP isn't just a set of rules. It's a dynamic, evolving approach that helps ensure the medicines we rely on are made with the best practices available today. Let's talk about the concept of the Pharmaceutical Quality System, or PQS. Even though the regulations under 21 CFR 210 and 211 don't specifically mention the term PQS, the FDA clearly expects a comprehensive approach to quality management. What does that entail? It means having an integrated system that manages quality across all aspects of pharmaceutical production. This system is life-cycle-based, meaning it considers quality from the very beginning of product development all the way through manufacturing, distribution, and even post-market activities. It's about controlling quality throughout the entire product lifecycle. Another key element is risk-based decision-making. Instead of reacting to issues after they occur, the focus is on proactively identifying potential risks and making informed decisions to mitigate them. It's also important to note that the FDA's approach aligns closely with international standards, specifically the guidelines from the International Council for Harmonization, or ICH. These include ICH Q8, Q9, and Q10, which emphasize quality by design, risk management, and continuous improvement. All of these components work together to ensure that pharmaceutical quality isn't just a series of isolated steps, but an integrated, proactive, and globally aligned system. This is the core of what a pharmaceutical quality system is all about, supporting our overall goal of delivering safe and effective medicines. Today, I want to talk about the objectives of the Pharmaceutical Quality System, or PQS, under FDA CGMP regulations. The main goal here is to ensure the drug's identity, strength, quality, and purity. This means making sure that every batch we produce matches the intended specifications and is safe for patients. Another critical objective is to prevent adulteration, which involves stopping any contamination or tampering that could compromise the product. We also need to maintain data integrity. This is vital because accurate, reliable data is the foundation for making sound quality decisions and ensuring compliance. Establishing a state of control is also key. This means having consistent processes that are well understood and monitored. And of course, we aim for continual improvement, always looking for ways to enhance our processes and quality systems over time. From a scientific perspective, process validation is fundamental. It confirms that our manufacturing processes work as intended and produce a consistent product. Risk management is equally important, identifying and mitigating potential issues before they become problems. Robust documentation supports all these efforts, providing a clear record of what has been done, why, and how. And at the core of all this is data reliability, trustworthy data that underpins every decision we make to ensure product quality and patient safety. Together, these objectives and scientific focus areas create a strong foundation for delivering safe, effective medicines. Let's talk about the responsibilities outlined under 21 CFR 211.22 for the Quality Control Unit, or QCU. Essentially, the QCU is tasked with approving or rejecting components, drug products, and labeling. They also review batch records to ensure everything was documented correctly. If there are any deviations during production, it's the QCU's role to investigate those issues thoroughly. Additionally, they approve procedures to make sure all processes meet quality standards. A critical point to remember is that the quality unit must be independent from production. This independence is vital because it helps maintain objectivity and ensures quality isn't compromised by production pressures. For example, if a batch fails the assay specification, the QCU must reject that batch, even if rejecting it affects production targets. This highlights the importance of prioritizing product quality and safety above all else. Overall, these responsibilities are designed to uphold the integrity of the manufacturing process and ensure that only quality products reach the market. Let's talk about documentation and record control, which is a critical part of ensuring compliance and quality in our processes. The FDA is very strict about how we control and maintain our records. This includes standard operating procedures, or SOPs, which outline how we do things consistently. We also have master production records that serve as the master plan for manufacturing, and batch production records that track each specific batch. Laboratory records are essential for documenting testing and results, while equipment logs help us monitor the status and maintenance of our equipment. Key regulations to keep in mind are 21 CFR 211.1, which requires written procedures, and 21 CFR 211.18, which covers records retention. These regulations ensure that our documentation is thorough, accurate, and available for review. Now, moving on to data integrity requirements. The principles here are often summarized by ALCOA+, which stands for attributable, legible, contemporaneous, original, and accurate, plus additional aspects like consistent review and audit trails. It's essential that we have an audit trail review process in place to track any changes or modifications in our records. For electronic records, compliance with 21 CFR Part 11 is critical. This regulation sets the standards for electronic signatures, records, and audit trails, ensuring that digital data is trustworthy and reliable. Overall, maintaining strict documentation and data integrity isn't just about avoiding citations. It's about safeguarding product quality and patient safety throughout the entire process. Let's take a closer look at how we monitor and control tablet compression forces during commercial production to ensure consistent dissolution. This is a critical aspect of maintaining product quality, and we use a variety of scientific tools for this purpose. Design of experiments, or DOE, helps us understand how different variables impact our process, so we can optimize it effectively. Statistical process control, or SPC, allows us to monitor process performance over time and identify any deviations early. Control charts are a key part of SPC. They help visualize data trends and signal when something is out of control. Process validation, especially when approached through a lifecycle perspective, ensures that our manufacturing process remains consistent and reliable from start to finish. The FDA's guidance on process validation from 2011 emphasizes this comprehensive, three-stage approach. The first stage is process design, where we develop and understand the process. Next is process qualification, which confirms that the process can produce quality product consistently. Finally, we move into continued process verification, or CPV, where ongoing monitoring ensures continued performance and quality over the product's life cycle. All these elements work together to help us maintain the highest quality standards, and ensure that our final product meets all necessary specifications. Let's talk about quality risk management, or QRM, which is a crucial part of our approach. The FDA actually encourages us to make decisions based on risk, aligning with the principles outlined in ICH-Q9. For example, before we decide to reduce the frequency of in-process testing, we perform a thorough risk assessment to ensure that quality remains uncompromised. There are several tools we use to support this process, including FMEA, hazard analysis, and risk ranking matrices. These tools help us identify potential risks and prioritize them effectively. QRM isn't just a standalone process. It's applied across various areas like deviation management, change control, supplier qualification, and environmental monitoring. Overall, integrating risk management into these activities helps us ensure product quality and patient safety while also optimizing our processes. Let's talk about the change control system. Although the CFR doesn't explicitly label it as such, the FDA clearly expects a formal process for managing changes. For example, if you need to change your API manufacturer, you'll usually need to conduct comparability studies to ensure the new supplier meets quality standards, and in some cases, you might even need a prior approval supplement, or PA, to get approval before making the change. The key requirements for managing these changes include performing a thorough risk assessment to understand potential impacts, validating any modifications to ensure continued compliance, and submitting regulatory filings if necessary. Certain types of changes require a careful evaluation, such as upgrading equipment, switching raw material suppliers, transferring manufacturing sites, or modifying analytical methods. Overall, having a structured change control process helps maintain product quality and regulatory compliance, which ties back to our overarching goal of ensuring safety, efficacy, and consistent manufacturing. Let's look at some examples to understand the importance of effective CAPA. For instance, repeated microbial contamination caused by poor gowning practices can lead to significant issues. The CAPA process in such cases would include retraining staff and enhancing environmental monitoring to prevent recurrence. Now, when it comes to FDA inspections, they focus heavily on repeated deviations that haven't been properly addressed at their root. They also scrutinize superficial investigations that don't uncover the real cause of problems. This is why a robust CAPA system is so critical. The FDA enforces the effectiveness of CAPA very strictly. The key steps in this process start with deviation identification, which means spotting the problem as soon as it occurs. Next, we conduct a root cause investigation to understand exactly why it happened. Once we identify the cause, we implement corrective actions to fix the immediate issue. Then, we put preventive actions in place to stop it from happening again. Finally, we verify the effectiveness of these actions to ensure the problem has truly been resolved. All of this ties back to our overall goal of maintaining high quality and compliance through continuous improvement and thorough investigation. Now, let's talk about laboratory controls under 21 CFR 211 subpart I. This section sets important requirements to ensure the quality and safety of our pharmaceutical products. First, we need validated analytical methods, meaning our testing procedures must be proven accurate and reliable before they're used routinely. Next, implementing a stability testing program is essential to confirm that our products maintain their quality over time under specified storage conditions. Another critical aspect is investigating out of specification, or OOS, results according to the FDA OOS guidance. For example, if an assay result falls outside the expected range, we can't just move on. We must conduct a full investigation before making any batch disposition decisions. This process helps us identify the root cause and ensure that only products meeting quality standards are released. The scientific importance of these controls cannot be overstated. They play a key role in preventing the release of subpotent or superpotent drugs, which can be harmful or ineffective. Overall, these laboratory controls form a vital part of our quality system, ensuring safety and efficacy throughout the product lifecycle. Now, let's discuss complaint handling and recall procedures as required by the FDA. They mandate that companies have written procedures in place for handling complaints, ensuring that every issue is documented and managed consistently. It's also essential to evaluate any adverse events reported, which helps identify potential safety concerns early on. Field Alert Reports, or FARs, are another critical component. They're the formal way to notify the FDA about significant issues that could affect public health. And of course, recall management is a key part of this process. If a defect is identified, a recall may be initiated to protect patients and consumers. To give you an example, imagine a market complaint about tablet discoloration. The first step would be conducting a root cause investigation. If necessary, a voluntary recall might be initiated to address the problem. It's important to understand that the FDA has the authority to escalate these issues. They can issue a warning letter, which is a formal notice of noncompliance. In more serious cases, they might activate an import alert to prevent the product from entering the country. And in extreme situations, they can pursue a consent decree, which is a legal agreement to ensure compliance. All of these measures highlight how vital thorough complaint handling and recall procedures are, not just for regulatory compliance, but for maintaining trust and safety in the marketplace. Let's take a closer look at some of the unreported out-of-specification results that can pose significant risks during inspections. It's crucial to understand that sharing login credentials is a major compliance concern, as it compromises data integrity and accountability. When the FDA conducts inspections, they look for specific outcomes such as Form 483 observations, warning letters, and even import alerts, all of which indicate areas needing attention. Data integrity is at the heart of a successful inspection. Inspections often focus on reviewing audit trails, ensuring electronic data control, and preventing data manipulation. These elements are vital because they demonstrate that your data is reliable and trustworthy. Backup and security systems also play a critical role in safeguarding your data against loss or tampering. A common issue the FDA frequently finds involves deleted HPLC data. This highlights the importance of maintaining an unaltered and complete record of all testing data. Overall, understanding these focus areas and common findings helps us better prepare and maintain compliance, ultimately supporting the integrity of our operations and our reputation in the industry. Let's take a closer look at some scientific metrics that help us monitor our process performance. First, process capability, or CP and CPK, are key indicators that tell us how well our process is performing relative to specifications. When these metrics show us a trend of increasing variability or approaching the limits, it's a signal that we may need to intervene proactively. Next, trend charts are invaluable tools. They visually display how process data evolves over time, making it easier to spot patterns or shifts early on. Along with that, stability trend analysis helps us determine whether our process remains consistent or if there are signs of instability that require attention. All of these tools support our overarching goal of continuous improvement and maintaining a state of control. They enable us to identify issues early, before they lead to failures or deviations. Now, tying this to regulatory expectations, the FDA emphasizes ongoing process monitoring. This includes trending deviations and out-of-specifications, or OOS results, to catch potential problems early. An important part of this is the Annual Product Review, or APR, where we evaluate the overall process performance over the year. Finally, management review is a critical step. It's where leadership assesses the process health and decides on necessary adjustments. In essence, these practices form the backbone of a robust quality system, ensuring we stay compliant and deliver safe, effective products. In conclusion, the U.S. FDA Pharmaceutical Quality System, or PQS, is a crucial framework that is legally enforceable under federal law. This means that compliance isn't optional, it's a legal requirement. A key focus of the PQS is data integrity, ensuring that all data related to manufacturing and quality are accurate and trustworthy. This is fundamental to maintaining product safety and efficacy. The system also emphasizes lifecycle process validation, which involves validating processes throughout the entire product lifecycle, from development to manufacturing and beyond. This helps to identify and mitigate risks early, maintaining consistent quality. Decision-making within the PQS is risk-based, meaning that priorities are set based on the potential impact on patient safety and product quality. An independent quality control unit plays a vital role, providing objective oversight and ensuring that quality standards are met without bias. Additionally, the entire system operates under a strict inspection and enforcement regime, ensuring ongoing compliance and accountability. Finally, the core message I want to leave you with is that the FDA PQS is a science-driven, compliance-intensive framework. Its ultimate goal is to ensure that every marketed drug consistently meets rigorous safety, identity, strength, quality, and purity standards. This system is essential for protecting public health and maintaining trust in pharmaceuticals. For further support, please contact us. We're here to help you apply what you've learned today and address any questions or concerns you might have. Don't hesitate to reach out. Your success is our priority. Thank you so much for your time and engagement throughout this presentation. We appreciate your commitment and look forward to working with you in the future.